Good morning. Welcome to the City Planning Public Hearing. And Madam Secretary, could you please begin?
Good morning. This is the City Planning Commission public meeting held in Spector Hall, 22 Reade Street. Today is Wednesday, August 20th, 2014. As a courtesy during the proceedings, we ask that you please turn off all cell phones and beepers. All speakers should fill out a speaker's card at the desk outside of Spector Hall. In addition, we ask that those providing testimony please identify yourself, limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and speak clearly into the microphone. I will now call the roll. Chairman Weisbrod.
Here.
Vice Chair Knuckles.
Here.
Commissioner Battaglia.
Here.
Commissioner Besser.
Here.
Commissioner Cantor.
Here.
Commissioner Cerullo.
Here.
Commissioner Delahousse.
Here.
Commissioner Dweck.
Here.
Commissioner Edie.
Here.
Commissioner Efron.
Here.
Commissioner Jung. Commissioner Levin.
Here.
Commissioner Marin.
Here.
A quorum is present. The first item is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of Wednesday, August 6, 2014.
Madam Secretary, before we have a motion on the minutes, I do want to note that very sadly that this is Angela Battaglia's last meeting as a member of the Planning Commission. She has, I know, graced this dais since 1996 and is one of our longest-serving commissioners, almost 2 decades. It's a remarkable run. And grace is indeed the right word, because while Angela is a passionate fighter for affordable housing, and her litmus test is often whether a proposal would serve the least well-off among us, she has been unfailingly gracious to applicants and to the public alike, and she, I will say personally, that she has been enormously helpful to me in welcoming me in these early months of my involvement with the Commission. She has shown a respect that conveyed her conviction that, like her, the public and applicants would put the interests of the City of New York first, as she always has. Angela's experience and expertise in providing affordable housing as part of a not-for-profit social service agency, specifically Ridgewood Bushwick Senior Citizens Council, has been a major asset to this commission and to the City of New York. Her knowledge and love of New York, its neighborhoods, and its people is always evident, and I have absolutely no doubt that she will continue to be active, I suspect even more active, now that she will be relieved of getting a thick stack of land use papers to review every other week. That will free her to serve the city even more effectively. I just have to say I've genuinely appreciated her insight, her probing questions, her collegiality, her judgment, her wisdom during the time I've had the pleasure of chairing this commission. I only sad that I didn't have the opportunity over the past 18 years to serve with you. And so I would ask you to all join me in acknowledging and thanking Angela Battaglia, and knowing and applauding what she's done for the City of New York and what she will continue to do for the City of New York for many, many, many years to come. So,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I be heard briefly? I know you want to get along with the business of the, but let me say publicly what I have said to her, but I want the world to know that I unabashedly love Angela Battaglia. I love her. For 14 of the 18 years she's been on the commission, I've had the good fortune to serve with her. And just let me say, I think that Angela is really the glue that has forged the collegiality and the friendships that cement this commission. She's always been the catalyst for bringing us together around dinners, around events, making sure that this unit that has emerged as the City Planning Commission was one that remained intact. And from my first day on the commission in September of 2000, no one was more welcoming and more gracious, as you've said, and no one, certainly in the realm of affordable housing and many other areas, has been more informative in terms of my own base of knowledge than Angela Battaglia. So I just want to say that I will miss her, but we will continue to be friends and colleagues.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken. Oh, my goodness.
We will go around the room here, and we will start to Angela's left, Rayanne Besser.
Angela, I have been so lucky that my last name begins with a B, that I was privileged to sit next to such a smart, compassionate, kind, wonderful person. I'm so lucky to know you, and I will hope that we can stay in touch.
We will. We will.
And I wish you all the best of health, love, and happiness.
Thank you. Please don't make me cry.
I miss you.
Maria Del Toro said I cannot cry.
It's okay.
Mr. Cantor.
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that Angela would trade the future of having to read land use papers in order to remain on the commission. But what is, and there are too many people in this room who quote "love you." Okay, we can go around the room, and I can definitely include myself in that group. The only words that come to my mind, other than the "I love you," is your dedication, your passion, your brilliance, your warmth. Use as a good lady. We're going to miss you, darling.
Thank you.
Love
Reverend.
you. Be well
Love
and
you
be
too.
happy.
Thank you.
I'm starting to feel like that end of the.
We're in the catbird seat over here.
Already we're running out of things to say, but I think that's because we all know a lot of people in the world who are different people to different people, and you are the same person to everyone. And so that's why I think all of our feelings will be exactly the same. And you've been a special friend for a very long time. The 10 years I've been able to sit with you, I've gotten to know you better than I knew you
It's
before.
only been 10 years, Fred.
It's 10 years, yeah. But I just want to thank you for being such a good teacher and a role model, and an amazing public servant, and helping to keep the bar on the commission, particularly in the public's eyes, so high. And you know, I know our friendship will continue on, but I will miss seeing you every 2 weeks. And I know I will get in trouble for saying this, but today is also Angela's birthday.
Oh, my God. Thanks, Fred.
But just know that I, like everyone else here, loves you very,
Thank
very
you.
much and wishes you the best of everything.
Thank you,
And
Fred.
until we all come together again.
Thank you.
Ms. Della.
I will just say that I don't think I had a true sense of who you were as a human being until I had the privilege to sit with you for these last 2.5 years. And I think that, like my fellow colleagues who commented on your warmth and your humanity, I think that shines through as part of every aspect of how you participate in this process. And I think what I will miss most, and I think one thing that the public will miss, is just the respect that you show to the public, and the appreciation that you show for the folks that participate in this process. And that shines through in everything that you say and do. So thank you.
Angela, working with you for the last 2 years has been phenomenal. You're a great role model. And knowing you, you're going to go from being planning commissioner to party planning commissioner.
And I do plan everything.
and I hope to continue seeing you at many of those happy events.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything you do.
Thank you, Joe.
Angela, I'd just like to thank you for 12 years we've served together, for your diligence, dedication, passion, and especially your friendship. You will be missed, but we will be in touch. And happy birthday.
Angela, I hardly know you, but and I feel the same way. And I was going to say, I think the best thing I can offer in praise is to hold up your great standard. So thank you.
And so similarly, I haven't had a chance to serve with you very long, but I think even in that short time, I've really seen, as Michelle was saying, the tone that you strike in terms of respect to the public, and I thank you for the leadership that you've held the banner on around affordable housing during the many years of your service. So thank you.
Thank you.
So picking up on that, one of the advantages of sitting way over here in the L&M section is that we get to look at Angela's smile, which is abundant and frequent, and certainly puts us at ease over here, but more importantly, I think puts everyone at ease who comes before us, knows that we are a human commission, not just a bunch of bodies. And so, Rayanne, you now have a big responsibility, because that smile, you're going to be sitting in that smile chair.
I'm practicing.
Good luck with everything.
Well, now me, Angela. I met Angela about 22 years ago when I worked for the state, and I knew then that we had a winner in public servancy and a respect for the city. And throughout the years of my working at the Housing Partnership, I was able to work with Angela very closely as well. Having sat with her on the commission actually afforded me an opportunity to see a different side of her. And I remember the first time I came to commission session, Angela said, come, we gotta go into the room. I'm gonna teach you how to read these packages. What to concentrate on first and what not to. So Angela, thank you so much. Having known you for 22 years, having interacted with you for 22 years, this is not goodbye, this is just I'll see you later. So good luck to you. I know I will see you later in some aspect of public servancy, and I wish you all the best. Okay?
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Angela, the floor is yours.
First of all, Chair Weisbrod, thank you for allowing all my fellow commissioners to say a few words. It means a lot to me, and I will try to keep my composure, which I'm not known to do. And I've learned one thing, and I do plan everything, that it's always better to write a speech, even if you have to read it, so you don't leave anything out, and it allows you not to get quite as emotional as you might otherwise, and then you will definitely leave things out. So I want to thank you, Chair Weisbrod, for your very, very, very kind words. I'm deeply touched, to say the least. I want to acknowledge, where is he? There's a there he is, city council member in the audience, my friend Steve Levin. Steve, thank you for coming here today. To start out with a bit of levity with regard to, I can't call him my council person, unfortunately, but I can call him my friend. Steve Levin's first job out of college was working for me, poor soul. And he went on to work for Assemblyman Vito Lopez as his chief of staff. And one day we are at a fundraising event, and the Assemblyman called on Steve to say a few words. And Steve started by acknowledging me and saying in front of his then boss, the Assemblyman, that I was the best boss he ever had. So I was flattered and honored, but he almost lost his job. But fortunately, not only did he maintain his job, he went on to bigger and better things. And I thank you for the progressive voice you bring to the city, Steve. I thank you for your friendship. I'll tell you another little story about Steve, and it's amazing that he is alive today, because I have a big brother. He is 6 years my elder. And when Steve first met my brother, he said to me, "Angela, is that your younger brother?" And of course I said, "Steve, you're dead." But he did manage to live through it. I have one of my staff in the audience today. She surprised me by being here, and a good friend. I thank you both for coming. So, I want to start by thanking Mayor de Blasio for allowing me to continue to serve these 8 months into his new administration. I am extremely excited about the mayor's vision for affordable housing in this great city, and needless to say, stand ready to support that effort in any way I can. I owe a debt of gratitude to former Mayor Rudy Giuliani for giving me the opportunity to serve on such an important body with such notable and distinguished colleagues throughout my tenure. I thank Mayor Bloomberg for reappointing me twice. As for my career here, hard to encapsulate, but suffice it to say that I am proud of the hundreds of actions that I've helped shape. Down zonings that help to preserve neighborhood character, up zonings that have brought new vitality to neighborhoods at the same time incorporating incentives for affordable housing and fresh food supermarkets, innumerable dispositions of city-owned property to dedicated not-for-profits for developments large and small in which 100% of the housing units were affordable. Although I am not able to cast an official vote on the first mandatory inclusionary housing action before this commission, I give this concept a resounding endorsement and hope to see many more. I believe I have demonstrated by my actions that no action before this commission is too small not to warrant our complete attention. I know I have demonstrated that my passion and commitment for affordable housing defines me. I am thankful that I've been able to affect policy that has resulted in thousands of units of affordable housing throughout the city. We must all remain ever mindful of the needs of the most vulnerable New Yorkers. Thank you to all the staff. Call, you are blessed with so many dedicated and highly skilled professionals. While I would like to give a shout out to all who have made my life here at City Planning a lot easier, it would take all day. But I must thank Melinda for always being there whenever I needed her. And by the way, happy birthday, Melinda.
Ooh, her birthday.
We share a birthday. Yvette, you are my fashion role model. Thank you for never failing to look bright and cheerful at every public meeting. I'm sorry Jackie couldn't be here today, but I think we all appreciate Jackie's one-liners. And when Jackie smiles, needless to say, it lights up the room. But more importantly, when Jackie smiles, we all know all is well. Jim, where are you, Jim? Jim controls the AC. Thank you for, among other things, thank you for lowering it whenever you see the hair on my head stand up, the hair on my, and see all of us go like this. Thank you, Jim, for escorting me out whenever the press was hounding me. Rochelle, I don't think she's in the room today, but I want to thank her. She always had my back. A few words on my esteemed colleagues. Erwin Cantor, what can I say? I have had the privilege of serving with Erwin throughout these 18 years. I've had the pleasure of sitting next to him for many of these years. One of my proudest moments on this commission was when Erwin asked me for an opinion on an important but controversial vote. Boy, was I proud when he took my advice when voting. Erwin, you have served the commission with utmost distinction. I will miss you so much. Please keep in touch. By the way, if your family throws you a party for your next milestone birthday, I'd like to be there to wish you Chendani, 100 years. To my other long-term and some short-term colleagues, Rayanne, you are one of the most caring and giving individuals I have ever met. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your animal advocacy. And by the way, Carl, that beautiful plant that was bestowed upon you as a welcoming gift was Rayanne. Rayanne thought of it, went out and got it, and although the plant was bigger than her, she carried it in. Fred. Fred. Who in this great city doesn't love Fred? Fred, thank you for your sensitivity over the years, especially in coordinating what resulted in truly the most beautiful floral arrangement I have ever seen when my dear mom passed away. It was unbelievable. And we did take it to the church, and we did take it to the cemetery. Michelle, I think my level of respect for you goes without saying. I know you will, along with our chair, keep up the good fight for affordable housing. I thank you for that. Joe, I had you out of order because you changed your seat, so let's just go. Ken Knuckles, Yes, Ken, Amanda did call me to get my opinion on selecting the Bronx representative as her vice chair. It was, of course, an immediate and unequivocal yes. Ken, thank you for taking on that noble task with such zest. Don't you love that word? And humor. Thank you for passing up courtside seats to a Heat game to attend a community meeting in Bushwick, which I was hosting. I will never forget that. I'm glad to have been here when your first grandchild, and indeed grandchildren, were born.
Thank you, dear.
Joe Dweck. First, thank you for all the group photos. You too, Rayanne. Thank you for your humor and wit. Good luck in all your endeavors, and you know what I mean. I think we all know what I mean. Before ordering the personalized M&Ms for all of you, I checked to see if they were kosher, so that Joe could enjoy them too. And Joe, I ask you, what makes today different than any other day? The answer is that I didn't fly in at the last minute asking to be recorded as yes on all the previous votes. And also, I'm a redhead now. Well, almost. Richard, my party planning partner. Now that's alliteration. What can I say? Years back, I shared with my dear friend and our former colleague, Nat Leventhal, how highly I regard you. Nat, in his inimitable way, simply said, "Tell him that." Richard, consider yourself told. Anna, wow, you are amazing. Erwin, if you think I read every piece of paper, consider Anna. Anna, I admire your lawyerly intelligence and your commitment. Your keen attention to every detail of every action is unmatched. And yes, we will plan that overdue lunch. And when Nat calls for impromptu drinks, please call me. Orlando, this time you're not last. Thank you, thank you, thank you for always having faith in me and supporting me with friendship and love in my hardest times. I will never forget that. Carl. My heart swells with admiration and respect. Your tenure began with Domino, one of the largest single developments that has come before us, not without controversy. What took us years to evaluate and analyze was absorbed by you in a matter of days. You miraculously turned around the affordable housing component for the better and certainly earned your stripes. You're smart, kind, and to quote one of our sitting colleagues who will remain unnamed, you are really classy. Carl, I have never developed a higher degree of respect in a shorter period of time. I will watch proudly all that you continue to achieve. I have enjoyed every minute of my tenure under your chairmanship. Indeed, my greatest regret in leaving the commission is not having more of an opportunity to serve under your apt leadership. I leave you with the words I greeted you with. Although you may never need it, if I could ever be of any help to you, I stand ready. To our new commissioners, welcome. You will realize in short order the tremendous impact you will have in shaping this great city. I wish you much success in this aspect of your respective professional careers. Let me end by saying that in my life I have been truly blessed. In addition to my 18-plus years on this commission, I was raised by two wonderful parents who instilled in me all the values I bear today. I have had the good fortune of devoting my entire adult life to safe, decent, and affordable housing for persons of lesser means. I have a life partner who, in my view, has done more for affordable housing in the state of New York than anyone I know. And I have you, my esteemed colleagues and forever friends. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I will just say on behalf of all of us, and I think everyone in this room and the public, you now have a sense of why all of us love and admire and will greatly miss Angela as a member of this commission. She has meant so much to not only the substantive work that we do, but to the cohesiveness of the commission and the collegiality that we have. And that's really, I think, due to many people here, but principally due to Angela. And that has been obvious to me in my very short tenure, as many people here have alluded to in their remarks. Angela has really been the glue and the person who has organized dinners and social events and for all of us. And I can assure everybody no business was ever discussed at any of those meetings, in full compliance with open meetings laws. And indeed, no business was discussed because they were have been entirely opportunities for the commission and members of the commission just to know each other, and that really, in a very different way, contributes to so greatly to the work that we do and our ability to work with each other despite different disciplines, different backgrounds, different points of views on many issues, and that's a role that Angela, among her many substantive contributions to the work we do, has really played to distinction. And I don't know who among us will fill that void, or whether anybody can fill that void. But we will miss you here, Angela. But I know all of us will stay closely in touch with you.
Thank
So
you,
I just really want to thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you
So-
all.
I'll begin. Okay, the first item is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of Wednesday, August 6, 2014.
Resolution to approve the minutes. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Minutes are approved.
Scheduling. On calendar numbers 1, 2, and 3, we have resolutions for adoption. Scheduling Wednesday, September 3rd, 2014, for a public hearing to be held in Spector Hall, 22 Reade Street.
On the resolutions, motion to approve. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution's approved.
The next part of the calendar is the report section on page 3. Borough of Brooklyn, calendar number 4, CD6, C120093 MMK, in the matter of an application for an amendment to the city map concerning Dykeman Street map amendment. For a favorable report on calendar number 4, Chairman Weisbrod,
Aye.
Vice Chair Knuckles,
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia,
Yes.
Commissioner Besser,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor,
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo,
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss,
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck,
Yes.
Commissioner Edie,
Yes.
Commissioner Efron, Commissioner Jung, Commissioner Levin.
I just want to commend the applicant's attorney for his refreshing candor when he explained this situation as having a contractor who had a very bad 2 days. I vote yes, and hope that better days are ahead.
Commissioner Marin.
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 4. Borough of Manhattan, calendar numbers 5 through 8. Calendar number 5, CD2, C140299 ppm. Calendar number 6, C140300 ZSM. Calendar number 7, C140301 ZSM. Calendar number 8, C140302 ZSM. In the matter of applications for the disposition of one city-owned property and for the grant of special permits concerning 19 East Houston Street. For favorable reports on calendar numbers 5, 6, and 7, and for a favorable report as modified on calendar number 8, Chairman Weisbrod.
I vote aye. I just want to commend many speakers who appeared before us, as well as members of this commission, for work that improved this application, both in terms of tightening up the advertising that will be available on this building, as well as restricting the parking regulations so that it will have a minimal effect on the community, and I vote aye.
Vice Chair Knuckles?
I agree with the remarks of the chair. This is not an easy site to develop, and I think the outcome is as prudent as we could possibly prescribe within the constraints of the site. I vote yes.
Commissioner Battaglia?
Yes.
Commissioner Besser?
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor?
Today is another change in the sense that for the very first time, Ed Marshall, in issuing the report, actually flagged it in red for us to see the differences and the changes. That's a very simple step, but boy, it's very helpful. Having said that, I agree with the other commissioners who've spoken so far, and I will vote yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron? Commissioner Jung? Commissioner Levin?
I find this application, which started out as a pretty good application, has really, as the chair indicated, been significantly improved through the public process. We heard impassioned testimony from the community about what needed to be fixed here, and I think many of those elements did get fixed to the extent they could. I still find myself in disagreement with one limited aspect of this proposal, and that is the application for a special permit to allow large retail. I simply, while I recognize that I have no overall objection to large retail in this area, I realize that it is plentiful. I am concerned that this particular site is simply too constrained for a large retail establishment. It really seems to me that with its narrow sidewalk, the complicated subway situation, and the awkward loading that will have to happen on Crosby Street, that it's really too big for the third floor of retail. It seems to me that the applicant is trying to fit 20 pounds of potatoes into a 10-pound sack. And for that very limited reason, I vote no on calendar number 8, which is the application for the special permit for large retail. I vote yes on all of the other calendar items here, while noting for the record my dissent on the portion of the lead report that deals with large retail. Thank you.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Favorable reports have been adopted on calendar numbers 5, 6, and 7, and a favorable report as modified has been adopted on calendar number 8. Borough of Queens, calendar number 9, CD 12, C140291 PPQ, in the matter of an application for the disposition of 12 city-owned properties. For a favorable report on calendar number 9, Chairman Weisbrod.
Yes.
Vice Chair Knuckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia?
Yes.
Commissioner Besser?
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron? Commissioner Jung? Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 9. Borough of Queens, calendar number 10, CDs 3, 4, and 7, C140385 PQQ, in the matter of an application for the acquisition of property concerning Roosevelt Avenue Bridge rehabilitation. For a favorable report on calendar number 10, Chairman Weisbrod,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knuckles,
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia,
Yes.
Commissioner Besser,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor,
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo,
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss,
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck,
Yes.
Commissioner Edie,
Yes.
Commissioner Efron, Commissioner Jung, Commissioner Levin,
Yes.
Commissioner Marin.
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 10. Borough of Staten Island, calendar number 11, CD1, C140361 PPR, in the matter of an application for the disposition of property concerning the new Stapleton sewer easement. For a favorable report on calendar number 11, Chairman Weisbrod,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knuckles,
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia,
Yes.
Commissioner Besser,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor,
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo,
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss,
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck,
Yes.
Commissioner Edie,
Yes.
Commissioner Efron, Commissioner Jung, Commissioner Levin,
Yes.
Commissioner Marin.
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 11. Borough of Staten Island, calendar number 12, CD3, N15005 RCR, in the matter of an application for the grant of a certification concerning 260 Brighton Street. For adoption on calendar number 12, Chairman Weisbrod,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knuckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia?
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron? Commissioner Jung? Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Calendar number 12 has been adopted. Borough of Staten Island, calendar number 13, CD3 N140432, RCR, in the matter of an application for the grant of a certification concerning 286 Loretto Street and 551 Rockaway Street, for adoption on calendar number 13. Chairman Weisbrod?
Yes.
Vice Chair Knuckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia?
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron? Commissioner Jung? Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Calendar number 13 has been adopted. Borough of Staten Island, calendar numbers 14 and 15. Calendar number 14, CD3 N140224 RCR. Calendar number 15 N140226 RAR. In the matter of applications for the grant of a certification and an authorization concerning Torres Loop, for adoption on calendar numbers 14 and 15. Chairman Weisbrod?
Yes.
Vice Chair Knuckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia?
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron?
Yes.
Commissioner Jung? Commissioner Levin? Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Calendar numbers 14 and 15 have been adopted. Borough of Staten Island, calendar number 16, CD2 N150010ZCR, in the matter of an application for the grant of a certification concerning 57 Shefflin Avenue, for adoption on calendar number 16. Chairman Weisbrod?
Yes.
Vice Chair Knuckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia?
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron? Commissioner Jung? Commissioner Levin? Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Calendar number 16 has been adopted. Borough of Staten Island, calendar number 17, CD3 N140437 RCR, in the matter of an application for the grant of a certification concerning 3303 Richmond Avenue, for adoption on calendar number 17. Chairman Weisbrod?
Yes.
Vice Chair Knuckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Battaglia?
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cantor?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron? Commissioner Jung? Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Calendar number 17 has been adopted. The next part of the calendar is the public hearing section on page 11. Borough of Staten Island, calendar number 18, CD3 C140210ZSR, a public hearing in the matter of an application for the grant of a special permit concerning the Gateway Cathedral.
First speaker is Philip Rampula. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Philip Rampula. I am an urban planner with the firm of Rampula Associates Architects. Commissioner Battaglia, I wish you all the best. For my 32 years of practicing, you've been here for 20 of them. You are a legend, and I don't appear here very often because most of the actions in Staten Island are authorizations and certifications. But when I did, you only questioned me once, and it was a compliment, so I thank you very much. Gateway Cathedral is located in the southern tip of Staten Island, down near the Outer Bridge Crossing, which is also the most southerly portion of New York State. The site itself originally was 22 acres, and it's outlined here. Part of the proposal that was just approved was to subdivide 4.5 acres off and to redevelop or recast the previous approvals that were granted for Gateway Cathedral. Originally, back in 1991 is when the cathedral was originally approved under certain South Richmond actions. And then in 2006, a special permit was granted to allow more parking than is usually permitted. The site itself is well served by arterial streets. This is actually the on-ramp to the Outerbridge crossing. We have two driveways that align with existing traffic lights. This traffic light takes you onto the West Shore Expressway and the Korean War Veterans Parkway, which splits off this way and goes north. And then this light takes you to the other side of Staten Island, the West Shore, and to other points on the South Shore of Staten Island. It is the planning of this. Some of the parking lots are existing. We are proposing an additional parking lot back here. The original cathedral size that was proposed is being reduced. While our office handled the land use actions, we worked in concert with the architect, and if there are any questions from me or the architect, Mr. Filippi is here and will be the second speaker. Thank you for your time, and I wish you the best.
Thank you, Mr. Rampula. Questions? Not even from Ms. Battaglia. Next speaker is Todd Filippi.
Good morning. I was last before this commission in 2006 when we had received the approval for the various actions that went with the property. At that point in time, the proposal was for a 2,800-seat sanctuary to be eventually developed on the property with 941 parking spaces on 22 acres. The church began to implement those proposals, but then over the course of time, things changed. First of all, at the point in time we were before you, before the church was going through significant growth, and we were anticipating that both in terms of the school that they have there and in terms of the ministry, that it was only going to be a matter of time before they would be able to achieve that goal. So the growth that has occurred has not been as significant as it was originally anticipated. And in addition to that, there's been a change in ministry dynamics, which has moved, not just for Gateway Cathedral, but for many of the churches, has moved from an emphasis on very large gathering spaces to smaller gathering spaces, recognizing that the importance of personal relationships is difficult to achieve in very large auditoria. The school as well has not undergone as significant growth as was occurring at that time. And then, of course, the economy hit, and the economy brought about certain things that would make it difficult for the church to implement everything over time, and so scalebacks were considered. Part of that was the sale of a portion of the property. Now, if I can step aside to say that, use an expression, God works all things together for good, in the course of them implementing the construction that had been approved, the church had to take a break for the economic downturn, but that provided a very large staging place for the church to help Hurricane Sandy victims. And they became the construction that was underway and that was open stored materials, food, clothing, baby formula, diapers. It was really just a command center that the timing was very interesting because it enabled them to reach out and help the community in significant ways. And now that is largely beyond the church's actions, at this point we're ready to move on to continue to implement what is now a scaled-back plan. The sanctuary size that we're looking at would be for a maximum of 1,820 seats with 618 parking spaces. The revised proposal also has a larger area of green space that is being preserved. We're preserving 45% open space on the site because of the reduction in parking and the reduction in size of the buildings. The ball field that was on the lower end of the site has been moved up and preserved here with access to the adjoining residence with a walking trail around there as well as connection to the church property. The plantings, there are significant plantings.
Couple more
Yes,
sentences. 2 more sentences.
Okay. The other major change is the addition of a solar field over the parking area. The church has received a grant from NYSERDA to be able to install a 400 kVA solar field, which would be the largest on Staten Island, that's our understanding anyway, that will be over parking that had been previously approved.
Thank you, Mr. Filippi. Questions? Thank you very much. The next speaker is Reverend Daniel Mercaldo.
I want to add my thanks to Ms. Battaglia. She was here the last time we were here. I feel like I've grown up here at City Planning when I first came to Staten Island in 1965, when Borough President Maniscalco was the president of Staten Island. And Fred Cerullo was one of my students when I was teaching. I want to thank all of you. Our plans have changed based upon circumstances that we have felt happened under God's leading. And as the architect mentioned, one of the great thrills that we had during the Sandy time, with all the heartache that went on in Staten Island, 26,000 residences affected, the Reserve, Army Reserve, the local Red Cross, and hundreds and hundreds of people who worked with rescue relief stayed in our church during those about a year's time. And it was all because the economy went down and we were slowed down our construction. Here was this empty 30,000 square foot building that was filled like a Costco. And it became a very, very important thing for us to have an opportunity to work with the community. When we first bought the property from the city in 1987 and 89, Borough President Molinari at that time asked me if we would be open to the community using the facility. And I told him at that time we would be, and we continue to have that sense that though the auditorium eventually will go down to 1,800, it will be the largest auditorium on Staten Island, and we're designing it more as a cultural center than an actual church building because we want it to be used for the community as best we can. Our academy is reaching into the community. I'm in a transition right now of change. After 50 years, I celebrate 50 years at Gateway this coming January. And I just want to say thank God. I want to say thanks to you. The city has been a tremendous help to us as a church. We could not have done what we have done without the help of Democrats and Republicans through the 50 years who have worked with us and helped us and guided us. And I want to say special thanks to Mr. Cerullo, who has been in so many different roles in this process over these years. He's a lot younger than 50 years. But no, not yet. No.
You're not supposed
Got
to
that
lie.
wrong.
Well, I appreciate it.
But I just want to say we've designed the buildings and worked with the architects. I fought for trees. Could you imagine someone fighting for trees? Rather than having big bare parking lots for hundreds of cars, they're separated by trees. The buildings have won all kinds of awards from the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce, and we will continue to do what we can, including the new solar things that we're setting up there over the parking lots, in order to do what we can to make Gateway a very special part of the community and the city. We love the city. Thank you for your help.
Thank you. Any questions? Not even from Mr. Cirillo?
I just wanted, I wanted to
Reverend,
find out about how
come
good
back.
a student Commissioner Cerullo was. No. No, I just wanted to commend you on your fantastic work. And I was going to ask you that, maybe you could shed some light on what kind of student Commissioner Cerullo was. But
Very talented.
Very
Thank you. Talented. That's a very tricky word. Talented students. Strategic, Reverend.
God bless you. You do great work. Thank you.
Were you magna cum laude like Ms. Battaglia and Ms. Jung over here? So, neither was I. So.
I just wanted to just take a moment just to acknowledge Reverend Mccall. He and his family, just from the numbers that he indicated, his connection to the community has been amazing. And the example of Sandy is just one of decades worth of examples of where you and Gateway have opened its doors to everyone from every corner of the borough and even beyond, as we know. And in this location, being really just at the Outer Bridge Crossing, brings also many people over to not only celebrate at Gateway, but also to enjoy what it provides to the community. So I just want to acknowledge our long history with you and your family. Typical Staten Island story, but it is wonderful to see you and to see you continue the amazing work and to be thinking about the future and what Gateway can continue to do for Staten Island. So thank you.
Chair.
Ms. Bessel.
I just wanted to associate myself with the comments of my colleague, and thank you very much for your help with the community members that were affected by Sandy. It's very much appreciated.
Mr. Marin.
I'm sorry, I just have one question. I realize I should have asked the architect. The solar array over the parking area, that's intended to provide power to what part of the church? Just curious.
The solar array will actually, as long as we have normal weather, will provide 100% of the church's energy for all the buildings that are currently constructed.
Thank you.
Ms. Pataglia.
So, Chair Weisbrot, I wouldn't want to end my tenure here without asking a question, since you seem surprised that I didn't. So the question will be short and simple and just a yes or no answer. Did you start when you were 5 years old?
I was 23.
Shocking. Shocking.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Reverend. Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard on this matter? If not, the hearing's closed.
Borough of Manhattan, calendar number 19, CD5, N150021 PXM. A public hearing in the matter of a notice of intent to acquire office space for use of property located at 420 Lexington Avenue.
Tom Lotito, is that? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Be our first speaker.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to speak on behalf of the New York State court system.
Yeah, and what I would suggest is perhaps you can speak on items number 19 and 20 at the same time. Thank you.
I'm here on behalf of the New York State court system. Under judicial law, it is the responsibility of local municipalities to lease space for the state courts and in various levels of reimbursement on our behalf. In the case of Court of Appeals judges, the city leases the space for the judges' chambers, but since they spend a lot of their time in Albany and a lot of their time here, we reimburse the city of New York 100% of all expenses having to do with occupancy of those spaces.
Any other questions? Yes.
I nailed it.
Ms. Delos.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for answering the
You're welcome.
question that most of us had in our mind. I'm just wondering, do the judges, what role do they have in actually finding the space, or is that entirely up to DCAS?
It is
It'd be helpful to know.
I'm sorry. It is a collective effort between DCAS, the Office of Court Administration, and the judges themselves.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Christopher Nestorezic. Nestor Chuck, sorry.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm the Acting Assistant Commissioner for the Real Estate Division at DCAS. I'm here to answer any questions you have. I know one of the questions was, what is our partnership with OCA? And we do assist them in identifying sites. Generally, we enlist the services of tenant reps like CPC or Cushman & Wakefield, and they help us identify sites within a given market. And in this situation, we were relocating them from existing space. And with OCA and with their approval on the sites that were selected, we identified these two sites, 420 and 570 Lex. So, and I think one of the concerns was about reimbursements, and I know Tom addressed that. I have confirmation from my financial services unit at DCAS that, in fact, those two judges' chambers are 100% reimbursed by the state of New York. So if you have any other questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Just out of curiosity, since you find the space, do the judges want to have their chambers separate and apart from each other as a general rule, or do they want to have it in the same building, or does it work differently with different judges?
You know, I haven't actually met with the judges individually. I know Tom has.
I assume they have to approve the space.
They approve the space. We showed them the space, like at 570, for example. We had some, space identified in that building. They saw it, they liked it, and then we are then given the task of negotiating a lease and designing and helping design the space.
Mr. Reade?
How many, excuse me, how many people will be occupying each of the spaces?
I believe at these locations it's between 4 and 5, so it would be the judge, and Tom, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the judge, his or her clerk, and some support staff.
And is there any criteria that goes along with the amount of square feet that
we have
are sought in regards to the number of people occupying
Yes,
the
we have
space?
space design guides that allot a certain amount of square footage for the number of persons that are in a space. So,
And obviously, this is consistent with those
these are
guidelines.
consistent, yes. I mean, 420 is 2,800 square feet, which would be consistent with, a staff of 4 to 5 and perhaps an area to meet with people. And 570 is about 3,800 square feet, which also would coincide with the amount of personnel and public access, if any.
Thank you.
Mr. Dwight?
Is there a compelling need to keep the judges separate?
No, I mean, the judges have a tremendous amount of discretion in terms of where they want to be located. We weren't given any mandate that they had to be together, if that's what you're asking, or
My
if they
only
had to be
thought is
separate.
that, could save some money, perhaps if they could share space, and I guess they could share certain rooms, boardrooms, conference rooms, and things like
Well,
that.
when we do our site selections, obviously, we have the best interest of the city in mind, as well as for the judges. So, in these situations, these are small spaces. They're not, 30,000, 40,000 square foot spaces. So they accommodate what the needs are for the judges.
I understand.
It's like, for example, I'll give you an example. Like at 570 Lex, the judge will be occupying the entire floor. So that building is a tower building, and so the 3,800 square feet is the entire space, is the entire tower. So there would be no access, no available space for any additional judges.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We've
Thank you,
learned
everyone.
more about Court of Appeals judges than we ever could have imagined. Well, Court of Appeals being married to a judge, I can tell you, she's not a Court of Appeals judge. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
and,
Chairman.
is there anyone else who wishes to be heard on this matter? Not, the hearing's closed.
Should I go on to calendar number 21?
Yes, I should say, hearings on number 19 and 20 are both closed.
Okay. Borough of Brooklyn, calendar number 21, CD2, N150023, PXK. A public hearing in the matter of a notice of intent to acquire office space for property located at 1 Metro Tech Center.
The first speaker is Fabian Feliciano? No?
Yeah.
Feliciano, right.
Good morning, Chairman Weisbrod, Vice Chairman Knuckles, Commission. Department of City Administrative Services put in an application for HRA to acquire space at 1 Metro Tech. We're in need of that space so that OCSC, which is the Office of Child Support Enforcement, can go there. It's about 45 staff members, and they see about 50 clients on a daily basis. I'm sorry, I'm Fabian Feliciano. I'm from the Human Resource Administration, Office of Land Use Review. Any
Questions? Mr. Knuckles.
Mr. Feliciano, is there other space in Metro Tech for HRA? Does this add to an aggregation of space, or is this the first lease of its kind there? I'm just
This would be the
curious.
first lease of its kind for HRA.
Okay. Is HRA, do they have space elsewhere in proximity to this?
Yes, I believe they had space at 10 Metro Tech, which is, well, actually, we do have MIS in 1 Metro Tech. 6 Metro Tech. 6 Metro Tech MIS, you guys approved it a while back.
Ms. Delausse.
Mr. Feliciano, thanks for being here. I'm just wondering, and perhaps you know the answer to this question and maybe not. Did HRA know of the owner's plans to demolish the previous building when it was leasing 10 Metro Tech so that it could figure that into its long-term plan?
No, actually,
plan for leasing?
that came as a surprise for us as well.
Okay. And do you happen to know whether or not the leasing arrangement in terms of per square foot is the same or similar to what the arrangement was in the previous location?
It's fairly similar. It's 27,000 square feet.
And the price?
Price?
No.
We have a represent. I'm
From
sorry.
DCAS.
We do
You
have
have a representative from DCAS here?
There is.
Let him testify. We'll hold the question. We'll hold the question until he testifies. Any other questions for Mr. Feliciano? Okay, thank you, Mr. Feliciano. The next speaker is, with much anticipation, Scott Bernstein from DCAS, right?
Chairman, Vice Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Scott Bernstein. Questions?
Well, I don't know if you have a statement to make or anything to add, but
No
you
statement. I
heard
was
Ms.
really
Delahuse's
here
questions
to
on the floor.
answer any questions.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming up. Really, it just has to do with, since the previous leasing at 10 Metro Tech seemed to have been ended without the knowledge of HRA in terms of, and able to plan, I'm just wondering how accommodating the landlord was in terms of price in this new lease.
Overall price is the same. There is a net reduction of space, so there is a slight savings to the city. But the cost per square foot, total gross, it's the same.
Great.
Mr. Knuckles.
On my earlier question that you may have heard, I was just wondering, is there an opportunity to centralize the various HRA presences, maybe not in this particular transaction, but over time, such that you don't have HRA offices spread out over Brooklyn, but perhaps concentrated in one area, be it Metro Tech or some other locale?
In the past, there have been consolidations. It depends on what HRA their commissioner would like to do, if they want to proceed with consolidations. It's a request that is made by our clients at this point, but we will consider it.
Well, my recollection of DCAS, which is 20 years old now, admittedly, but I think
an expert recollection,
But we do
nevertheless.
have some space. I think there's space planning responsibilities inherent in what you do. So I'm just thinking if there's an opportunity to consolidate, given everything else an HRA commissioner has to deal with, this is probably be far down the list, but it may be a consideration that if the opportunities are there.
As you probably are aware, we have done a major consolidation in Brooklyn and just recently in the Bronx for HRA.
Ms. Efron.
Was there a demolition clause in the lease, and is it a matter of practice that DCAS-related leases try to negotiate for some demolition clause?
No, there was no demolition clause in the lease. This was, the second part, we do not, we would make sure there are no demolition clauses in our leases. We would not agree. The city has a right to terminate, not a landlord.
Right, I realize that, but often tenants can negotiate on that behalf. I'll just mention that.
Any other questions for Mr. Bernstein? Not, is there anyone else who wishes to be heard on this matter? And if not, the hearing is closed. And Madam Secretary, is there any other business to come before
No,
us?
Chairman Weisbrod.
Other than to wish the best to Ms. Battaglia.
Thank you again. Thank you for everything.